Have you ever looked around and felt different? You sit quietly in the middle of a conversation and wonder, is this all there is? Small talk drains you. Gossip feels like noise, while others chase attention. You crave depth. You're not trying to be better. You're just wired differently, and deep down, you know it. And yet, you question yourself. You overthink. You hesitate before speaking. You doubt your own brilliance. Because the world has taught you that intelligence looks a certain way: loud, confident, maybe even flashy. But what if I told you that your silence is not weakness, it's wisdom? That your self-doubt is not insecurity, it's self-awareness? And that your quiet observations, your ability to stay calm, your hunger for meaning, are not flaws to fix, but signs of a mind that sees what others miss. See, true intelligence isn't loud. It doesn't need a stage. It doesn't crave validation. It watches. It reflects. And it grows in silence. Just as the Stoics believed. Wisdom isn't proven in words, it's revealed in how you live, how you think, and how you master yourself. In this video, we'll uncover 5 hidden signs that prove you're far smarter than you think, signs rooted in Stoic philosophy and often ignored in a noisy world. You're not here by accident. You're here because deep down, you know, you're meant to think deeply, to live wisely, and to lead from within. Let's begin. 1. Self-doubt as a sign of depth. Have you ever caught yourself second-guessing your own thoughts, pausing before you speak, wondering, what if I'm wrong? Or is there something I'm missing? In a world where loud certainty is mistaken for confidence, that quiet self-questioning might make you feel like you're falling behind. But here's the truth the Stoics knew long before us: doubt, when grounded in honesty, is a mark of depth, not weakness. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and one of history's greatest thinkers, once wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I shall gladly change, for I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." That's not just humility. That's courage, the kind of courage that's willing to put truth above ego. See, most people rush through life clinging to being right. They crave the comfort of certainty. But you pause. You reflect. You ask better questions. And in doing so, you prove something rare: you're not afraid of being wrong. You're afraid of staying wrong. That's not insecurity. That's wisdom in action. Because real intelligence doesn't shout. It listens. It learns. It evolves. So the next time you catch yourself doubting, remember, that moment of reflection might just be your mind operating on a higher frequency, one most people are too proud to reach. 2. Calmness under pressure equals emotional intelligence. Let me ask you something. What do you do when everything around you starts to fall apart? Most people react. They yell, panic, defend, or lash out. It's human nature. But if you're someone who gets quieter when things get louder, who takes a breath before responding, who observes before judging, then you're not cold or passive. You're wise. This kind of calmness in chaos, it's not luck. It's a learned strength, and one the Stoics held sacred. Epictetus once said, "It is not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." And that one idea changes everything. When you can pause long enough to choose your response, rather than be ruled by emotion, you're showing one of the highest forms of intelligence, emotional mastery. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've trained yourself to not be controlled by what you feel. While others get swept up in the storm, you learn to become the eye of it. Think about how rare that is today, when outrage is rewarded and overreaction is the norm. Calmness becomes a kind of rebellion. A quiet, powerful form of leadership. You don't just survive pressure. You rise through it. And that kind of composure, that's not weakness. That's genius. 3. Feeling misunderstood because you think deeply. Have you ever been in a room full of people, yet felt completely alone? Not because you're antisocial. Not because you don't care. But because the conversations feel hollow, the topics shallow, the energy scattered, while others are talking about trends, gossip, or the latest distractions. Your mind is searching for meaning. That doesn't make you strange. It makes you rare. Deep thinkers often feel like outsiders, not because they're above others, but because they're operating on a different wavelength. One that values truth over noise, depth over popularity, insight over entertainment. Seneca, one of the great Stoic minds, once advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you, not those who agree with everything you say, but those who challenge you, who make you think deeper, grow stronger. And maybe that's why you sometimes feel out of place, because your soul is wired for growth, not groupthink. You don't seek the spotlight. You seek substance. You'd rather have one honest conversation than 100 empty ones. You don't fear solitude, you use it. That's not disconnection. That's discernment. In a world obsessed with being seen, you're more concerned with seeing clearly, and that quiet sense of not fitting in, it's not a flaw. It's the quiet echo of genius. 4. You notice patterns others miss. Have you ever noticed something small, that others completely missed? A subtle shift in someone's tone, a pattern in someone's choices, a quiet warning in a conversation no one else paid attention to? That's not overthinking. That's perception. And it's one of the most overlooked signs of real intelligence. While most people react to what's obvious, you're scanning what's hidden. You don't just ask, what's happening? You ask, why is it happening? Where might this lead? Marcus Aurelius trained himself to look beneath the surface, and so do you. Whether it's reading people's intentions, anticipating consequences, or seeing the long-term effects of small actions, your mind naturally connects the dots. You're not guessing. You're running mental simulations. You're thinking like a strategist, not a spectator. This kind of foresight is powerful, but it's also isolating. Because when you see what others ignore, it's easy to feel like you're speaking a language no one else understands. But don't silence that insight. In a reactive world, the ability to step back, to think ahead, to see the bigger picture, isn't just intelligence. It's a form of Stoic mastery. And in the quiet space between observation and reaction, that's where wisdom is born. 5. You pursue mastery silently, not applause. There's a kind of genius that never asks to be noticed. While the world performs for praise, chasing claps, likes, and validation, there are those who quietly get to work. No spotlight, no announcements, just silent, steady improvement. And if that sounds like you, don't underestimate how rare that is. Real mastery doesn't need an audience. It needs commitment, and you understand that. You don't post every small win. You don't need someone to clap for your progress. Because you're not building your life for approval, you're building it for meaning, for purpose, for strength. Marcus Aurelius said it best, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. And that's exactly what you do. While others debate, you develop. While they pose, you practice. You're not chasing status. You're cultivating substance. And that's the heart of Stoic wisdom, to live by your own standard, to train in the dark, to grow in silence, not for applause, but for alignment with your values, your goals, and your highest potential. So if you've ever felt invisible while working on yourself, remember this: the world may not see your effort right away, but when the results come, they'll speak louder than any praise ever could. 6. True genius is subtle but profound. Let's take a moment to step back and look at the bigger picture. Maybe you've never seen yourself as a genius. Maybe no one ever told you that your quiet habits, the way you reflect deeply, stay calm under pressure, think in layers, spot hidden patterns, and work in silence, are actually signs of rare intelligence. But that's exactly what they are. We live in a world that confuses loudness with leadership, speed with success, appearance with insight. But real wisdom doesn't chase the spotlight. It flows beneath the surface, calm, quiet, steady. And that's where true genius lives. You don't need to dominate a room or win every argument to prove your worth. You already show your strength in the way you carry yourself, in how you think, how you respond, how you grow when no one's watching. Stoicism reminds us, it's not about being clever for the sake of showing off, it's about seeing clearly, living with intention, and mastering your own mind. So if you've ever felt out of place in a noisy world, know this, you're not behind. You're just playing a different game, a deeper one, a wiser one that doesn't demand attention, but earns respect. If any part of this message resonated with you, if you saw even one of these traits in yourself, then I invite you to stop doubting your quiet brilliance. You don't need to shout to be wise. You don't need a crowd to grow, and you certainly don't need permission to lead yourself with clarity, courage, and calm. These Stoic traits you carry, self-reflection, emotional composure, deep thinking, pattern recognition, and silent mastery, are not just quirks. They're proof that your mind is aligned with something far greater than trends or noise. So ask yourself, what would happen if you leaned into these traits fully? If you stopped trying to fit in, and focused instead on becoming unshakably you? Leave a comment below and tell me, which of these 5 signs do you recognize most in yourself? And if you're ready to keep growing, to keep thinking deeply and living wisely, then subscribe to this channel and join the Stoic True Wisdom community. Because the world doesn't just need louder voices, it needs stronger minds, like yours.